Hi, today we are going to learn about interpreting line graphs. A line graph is a graphical representation that shows how the value changes. A line graph is a graphical representation of data that varies continuously over time and is shown on the graph as points. Another name of line graph is line chart. Now, what are different parts of line graph? Number 1 is title. Number 2 is x-axis. Number 3 is y-axis. And number 4 is trend. Title describes the data for each line graph that is plotted. X-axis informs about the labels on the x-axis, whereas y-axis informs about the labels on the y-axis. Now, to create the graph, we connect the points. The trend is shown by the intersection points of the label on the x-axis and y-axis. Here is one example for the same. Steps for plotting the graph. Number 1. Draw the x and y-axis on the graph. Write the heading or title above the table so that the purpose of the graph is clear. Step 2. If one of the components is time, for example, it is displayed on the horizontal axis, sometimes known as x-axis. The other component would then be positioned on the y-axis, that is vertical axis. Each axis should be labeled with the variables it represents. For example, the x-axis can be labeled as time or day. Number 3. Then, on the graph, highlight the accurate values using the data. Number 4. We can draw a clear opinion about the trend once the points are joined. Reading a line graph. Study the two axes to see what they represent. Then look at the graph and the values of the points that are positioned on the graph. Examine the lines to see if there is any upward or downward trend. For example, in the above graph, data has been represented for a particular shop about the sale of the number of water bottles of a particular week. Read the above graph and answer the following questions. Question 1. The sum of the water bottles sold on Monday and Wednesday is. Now, for answering this question, we will look at the points marked on the graph. Number of water bottles sold on Monday is equal to 40. Number of water bottles sold on Wednesday is equal to 40. So the total number of bottles sold is equal to 80. Question 2. How much more water bottles were sold on Thursday than Friday? Number of water bottles sold on Thursday are 120, whereas number of water bottles sold on Friday are 100. So the difference is 20. Let's try a question. What is the difference in the number of muffins sold on Sunday compared to Friday? As from the graph we can see that number of muffins sold on Sunday are 35 and number of muffins sold on Friday are 15. The difference is 20. So we can say that 20 muffins more were sold on Sunday as compared to that of Friday.